Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1980s.
Do it now, or your punishment shall be 1,000 deaths, each more horrible than the last.
This is episode 187, recorded August 4th, 2021.
So
and
do it now.
He means it.
Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Jeff Mohr, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1980 and 1989. Each episode, my co-host Bill Mulligan, Crystal Cleveland, and Chad Hunt, and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this radical, gory, influential, and gruesome decade. With me this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl, and co-host of Gruesome Magazine podcast. How are you, Crystal?
I'm doing great. A little afraid of Chad killing me. That was stupid. I'm really bad at these. I don't know. I need a writer.
Well, those Freudian slips are no joke.
Also joining us. I'll keep going. Maybe you're going to say something good here. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's bad. I know.
Also joining us is Chad Hunt, comic book artist, co-host of Decades of Horror, the classic era and 1970s, and a comic book artist and writer. How you doing, Chad?
I'm good. I got some interesting mail today. I went to the mailbox, opened it up. There was an envelope addressed to me. I opened it up and it said, "Dear Chad, I am planning ways to kill you as we speak, Crystal."
What?
I folded it and put it back in.
That would be so spooky.
Return to sender immediately.
That would be.
You got one of those too, huh?
Other than that,
so many ways.
Other than that, you're pretty good, huh?
Other than that, and I bought new door locks.
Oh yeah, well, it's a good idea.
And a bulletproof shield, and a bulletproof jacket, and helmet.
Hee-hoo.
One of them things that protects bullets from going into your ass. Yeah, I got one of them too.
Is there a thing, really?
It was on Amazon, so I guess
Yes. On this podcast, we're going to start by giving some basic details of the film. Then we'll get to our first impressions and then talk about stuff in general.
Yeah, what about?
After I introduced Bill Mulligan.
Wow.
Almost last but not least.
Almost.
Writer, director, special effects guru, an all-around nice guy, and really good at waving his hands to the track.
Yeah. Hey.
How you doing, Bill?
I had a piece of my toenail torn off today.
Yeah, nice.
Which is,
Hey.
scarier than anything in this movie. So, yeah, other than that, I'm just waiting for the painkillers to wear off.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. How much?
So we should keep an eye on you? Is it?
If I scream in the middle of this podcast, but it has nothing to do with the movie, that's for damn sure. But
Well, yes, and the movie. Our movie this episode is Children of the Corn, directed by Fritz Kiersch, written by Stephen King, actually based on a short story by Stephen King, and screenplay by George Goldsmith. Cast includes Peter Horton, Linda Hamilton, R.G. Armstrong, John Franklin, Courtney Gaines. It was filmed in the Sioux City, Iowa area, a bunch of small towns around there. Now, it's interesting to me that I don't know. Very seldom do they film something in Iowa and say it's in Iowa. Usually we filmed it in Iowa and we're saying it's Nebraska, or we say it's Iowa and we filmed it in North Carolina or Georgia. Anyway, filming date, September 1983 to October 1983. Release date is March 9th, 1984 in the U.S. Estimated budget, $800,000. Domestic box office, $14.5 million.
Ooh.
that's a profit.
That's the gross. That's the gross for U.S. and Canada. And the synopsis, as if you know, if you've been hiding somewhere and haven't seen any of this or the 10 follow-ups or so, a young couple is trapped in a remote town where a dangerous religious cult of children believes that everyone over 18 must be killed.
Well, technically, I mean, are you over 18 if you're 18 in a day?
Sure.
Well, okay.
Because
So
they
if you're
actually,
19,
yeah, if you turn 19,
if
they
you
do
can get
it.
a drink,
Yeah. Oh, well,
And
but the drinking age is like 21.
well,
As
back
far as-
then it wasn't. I don't know
Oh.
when they changed it, but I had my first Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill when I turned 18. I wish that
You
was
waited,
just a
huh?
joke.
you waited.
You know, I did. I was such a sap. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what they called the Apple one. That's the one I had first.
That sounds
Oh.
good. Do they
No.
have that still?
Oh God, no. Good.
Oh.
Had nothing to do with
There
it.
was
Oh,
that stuff
Oh.
never saw fruit.
No.
no. You know what it did see? You know what it
It
did
was
see was
chemically
the,
produced alcohol with flavoring. I think.
it saw the back seat of my dad's car though, because you could not keep that swill down. It was awful. So there goes our chance of being sponsored by Boone's Farm, but
I think are they still around?
That's why I was asking. I'm like, do they still
There's
make
got to
that?
be some. There's
That
gotta be
stuff
an
was
equivalent.
I don't remember, but it was around $1 a bottle in the
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
Well, that's so cheap.
But you
So
could-
cheap.
but you could
that's why
get-
we got it.
You know,
'Cause-
in the early 70s, you could get a 6-pack of Old Mill for 89 cents or something. So
Well, that's why you got it,
Yeah.
because you go to the liquor store. It was your first time. You can now legally look. My card works. It's real.
Oh,
And you're looking around. There's all this expensive stuff, and then there's a gallon for like half the price. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, I'd be stupid to turn down this bargain. Wow.
a gallon was more than $1. It was
Yeah,
like a
it
quart,
was.
liter or
Nah.
a quart was. All right.
Anyway,
Anyhow.
anywho,
I got no real, also known as, other than Niños Diabolicos, the Diabolical Children, I believe, in Mexico.
that's a great
Otherwise,
title. It's
everything
a great title,
was,
very evocative.
Children of the Corn. And now
Uh,
it is time.
now is the time
Oh.
of the Rockets Lee tagline.
Taglines.
This thing had taglines?
Yeah,
Hold on, Jeff. Let me pull up my tab here with the thing.
Only 3.
And
Oh.
they're almost as good as the ones we usually get. Almost.
There's one good one.
Well,
I think.
Oh God.
oh, golly.
Oh wow. I
Yeah.
know.
An adult
Yikes.
nightmare.
Ooh, oh, it's got naughty bits. An adult
Hmm.
nightmare.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm done.
Uh,
I'm just going with the Monty Python theme. That
Okay.
started.
let's get this over with.
Yeah.
And the child shall lead them.
See, okay, all right, that's all right. It's okay,
Yeah, it's
That's
Yeah.
part of a Bible verse, I think.
right?
Yes,
And that's
yes.
always like spooky.
and it's a theme throughout the whole thing.
Sure.
It was written everywhere on the walls. So it's okay.
Or
Ugh, this one.
Or in their world, adults were not allowed to live.
I hate that one. I think it's so cheesy.
whenever you have the 3 little dots, it's
Todd
usually
Stevens.
no good payoff there.
Well, according to the guy from Sling Blade, the 3 dots is a dramatic effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your little ellipses there. Yeah.
And then I go dot 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 for dramatic.
Okay. Well, let's go to first impressions. And this was my pick, and I feel I must explain myself. I saw this in the theater when it came out, and I didn't like it. And I thought, wow, a movie that's got this many sequels, maybe I should revisit that. You know, maybe I was missing something. I should look
Yeah,
at it.
Maybe you were too
with my-
tough on it.
Yeah.
Decades of horror classes on, no, that's pretty much what I thought it was. And whenever I read about what this original story had that's not in this, or the original screenplay had that's not in this, I keep thinking, boy, that would have been a lot better movie. We have this sort of, you go quite a ways into the movie before what are their names? Burt and Vicky, played by Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton, before they even get to this little town. I don't know. I just don't like it. The best thing about it are the characters Isaac and Malachi, and they're so creepy and annoying. I don't even like. I just want to turn away. I mean, maybe that means that they were effective. Courtney Gaines and John Franklin, but yikes. And we got some kicking special effects. I'm sure Bill will have something to say. There's a part at the end that looked like somebody colored on the film. Anyway.
If only.
But there are some reasons for some of that. This is your typical movie where, we thought we had a budget and a script, but oh wait, things change. So I guess I will leave it at that. And I apologize to anybody who this is like their favorite movie. This is the first movie they went to, and it scared the hell out of them. But didn't work. So anyway, I'm going to go with, because I have a feeling there might be a different opinion. Crystal Cleveland.
Yep.
Next.
Wow.
When did you first see this? And
God, I don't remember. I was like a little kid. I don't remember how old I was. Too little, probably. But I freaking loved this movie as a kid. I thought it was, well, obviously I was a kid, so I was like, yeah, we're going to rule. We're going to rule this world. But I did not. Okay, was it as good as when I was a kid? No, obviously. I see all the faults now, but I still liked it. I liked Malachi. I liked Isaac. I think they were really creepy. I liked the little kids, the little brother and sister. I did not realize Linda Hamilton was in this, though. I mean, I didn't know who she was at the time, when I was a kid. It was just some other adult in some horror movie. But I did cringe a little bit when she danced in the beginning. When she did her little dance, I was like, oh, it's so cringy. It's so bad. It's so bad. But
what people do in the
story.
privacy of their own bedroom.
Right.
is on camera for everyone to see. Yes.
Yes.
I like the story. I like the idea of it. Now, what's really funny is I remember as a child saying, "He who walks behind the rose." I like roses and that's what I thought it was. I was not thinking rose of corn. Oh my God. So
That's
sad.
understandable.
I shouldn't admit that, but that's, yeah. And then it was like later that I realized, oh, it's rose of corn. Oh. But I don't know. Okay, so some of the special effects were really bad. And there were some issues with, some of the plot stuff and everything. But I liked it. And, is Stephen King, did he make an appearance in this one like he typically does? I didn't see him.
So.
Okay.
Okay. No.
I didn't think so, but I don't know. It's a simple story, so there's not really a lot to discuss here. It's basically just, them killing all the adults and then two wanderers come in and them chasing them. That's literally the whole story. So not much. It's simple, but I don't know. When I was a kid, I was really scared. I really enjoyed it. I thought, oh, God, that corn's going to get him. I like corn, too. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I like corn.
Hold on. I'm writing that down, too.
Yeah.
Hold on.
She doesn't like ice cream, but she likes corn.
Yeah, I do like corn. Grilled corn, like corn on the grill is really good.
Sure.
Oh, it's awesome. All right. Chad Hunt.
What?
When did you first see this? He who.
Ew.
I saw it in the theater when it first came out.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I hated it then, and I don't think too much more of it now. The first time I saw it, I was kind of in, cheesy. It's going to be a cheesy movie based on, and having been a Stephen King fan, I knew the story already. I felt so ripped off by the ending
Oh.
and the not seeing a monster, but just like a moving mound of whatever through the cornfields and that horrible explosion that just looked like a cigarette burn on film. You know how they used to do that?
Yeah.
It looked like a cigarette burn with a face
Wow.
on it. I just, I watching it now, I feel like there were some good things in it, maybe.
Your voice got real high there.
Right. Because I'm not sure about my next few sentences here. I thought I did dig Isaac a lot. I just he was kind of sort of mesmerizing to watch and made a really cool villain. And then just to see him at the end look like he just stuck his finger in a light socket.
Yeah.
And it just remember being so let down by it. But I did like the performances. Peter Horton was a little over the top in some places, but the kid who played Isaac, or a young man, just did an awesome job. And he sort of carried that movie. He became the mascot for that movie and everything. But I felt so much like I didn't understand what was going on, why nothing was really explained, and it just wasn't that interesting to me. But before we watched it this time, I read the theory that he who walks behind the rose is actually Randall Flagg, which, if you guys have read The Stand, he was the main villain in The Stand. And watching it again after reading that, I don't see how anybody could really
nice try
come to that conclusion. So, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm sure I'll watch it again a time or two before, however I end up, in life, hopefully. But but I think I don't understand why it's a classic either. Some people consider it a classic. And so I got a few problems with it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
I think a lot of it's got to be timing when this came out.
Yeah.
And I think that's because wasn't she in Terminator like right after this and stuff?
Right.
It probably is what helped boosted the movie. And the fact that it's been seen by so many people is probably why it's more of a classic than the fact that I still love it though. So that's embarrassing, but I just enjoyed it. But I think it's more about how well it did than anything else.
It's almost let's get to Bill Mulligan here, and then we can.
Oh, I was in prime.
I feel better about I totally feel better about myself now because I'm the only one who didn't pay to see this. The first time I saw it was actually just a few days ago. I have seen bits and pieces of this, but I loved the original story. I really did. And when I had the opportunity, I've had opportunities to watch this, and I got about 5 minutes in and realized, no, and got out while the getting was good, because I really, really like the original. And that, I think it was in that book that they had on the dashboard. Was it? I think it was
Night Shift.
It
was
Night Shift. Yeah. And the movie would have been better if at that point they just pulled over the side of the road and read us the short story, which is a really good story, has a great ending, and they just took the bare bones of it and stretched it out, added nothing. I mean, they had to add something because it's not a long story. And the story itself is really a lot of building up to that payoff. But man, the choices they made in this movie were bad. It's one of those things where I find myself counting on my fingers what was good about it. Good poster, good name. Isaac is fantastic. Mm-hmm. He is genuinely creepy and disturbing and unnerving. And I don't think they realized what they had, because when he turns into a demon at the end, he is a magnitude less scary than he was when he was just a regular kid.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like when you cast William Dafoe as the Green Goblin, you realize at a certain point that he's way scarier with the mask off than with the mask on. But But then that and okay, listen. He Who Walks Among the Corn was like a really good example of like folk horror. In the short story, it's a legit thing. I don't know what kind of thing it is, a demon or some primordial Lovecraftian something, but it's a physical presence. It's there. You can touch it. And this, calling these effects cheesy is an insult to the grand tradition of cheesy effects. At no point did they look like they were actually in the actual film. I mean, this would have been improved by just taking an X-Acto knife and scratching on the emulsion.
You're talking about the end climax.
Yes, I mean, anything. A guy in a rubber suit, a thing in a furry suit. Don't show the monster at all. Just point of view. Any choice they could have made would have been better. Literally any choice except for this one. So. Yikes. So why is it a classic? And look, Crystal, you don't need to listen. Every movie is someone's favorite movie. I love Attack of the Crab
This isn't
Monsters.
My favorite.
But it's a movie they love, you know. So you know, I could see being a little kid. This is pretty cool. The kids kill all the grown-ups, and the kids rule. And everything.
I think that's really, and I just don't think I've quite lost that. I'm like. I mean, I know you had like Village of the Damned. That's not the same thing. These kids are just kids. And then I like that you have the brother and the sister who are kind of the outsiders. And I like that she had her visions too. I don't know. I like the dynamic between Malachi and Isaac. I like that there's an internal struggle. Was it done well? It could have been better. But I kind of like the elements that are there. And as a kid, it played perfectly. I didn't have any.
It could have been better.
I thought,
and they've had what 9 other chances to make it better because this has been so many sequels to this movie. It's ridiculous. How many movies are there?
There's like 6. Yeah. 6
well, they had a list in Wikipedia of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Stop, Jeff! Stop!
That's insane. So
some of them are, some of them are direct to video. Some are maybe, I don't know,
11?
a couple of them.
In fairness, it may turn out to be kind of like the Of the Dead situation where there's lots of different versions.
Could be
something of the dead and it's zombies, but they're not really in the series. I mean, I don't know.
Well, there was one that came out last year that was sort of a prequel. And I think
just take the original short story and make a decent movie out of it, and people will think it's something brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
So
I was not a fan.
Yeah, and that's where I was. I wanted to see, and some of this stuff they cut. So I guess there's a story behind. Stephen King wrote the original screenplay.
Should have gone with that.
They didn't like it. Because there was too much character development at the beginning. I'm like, I don't know. It still takes them 40 minutes to get to the town.
Does.
Yeah, that's what makes him work, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think there was also, and I don't know which script it was, if it was the one he did or the one that George Goldsmith did. That there was a scene at the beginning explaining a little bit more about these kids. Like in the story, they have like they go into like seizures or fevers and stuff over the night, and then they wake up and then they take on these names. So there's this whole story of how this has happened before that we don't really get, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that there was all that.
Yeah, and that's
more sense, actually.
Yes, that would have made, I think. And there's more killings of the townspeople, a little more gruesome. I'm like going, this is an early 80s horror movie. Why aren't we? This could have been on TV, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what was on there that couldn't have been on TV. And every time there was a questionable thing, they backed off it and blamed it on how apparently King asked for an extra $500,000 for using his name on the poster and the title screen. So that dropped the budget from 1.3 to 800,000.
Wow.
Wow. Well,
so
probably because they didn't use his script.
Yeah, maybe.
I bet
maybe he got
you.
mad.
I bet you that's why he's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, fine, go ahead and
Well,
use your
then-
own piece of poop, but
And apparently, in the
I'm gonna
first
get
trailer,
mine.
in the
I would
first
do that
trailer, they
too, then.
spelled his name wrong. Yeah, so I think there was a little bit of got you back.
Boy, he's way different from me. If someone came to me and said, "We want to put your name on the poster," I'm like, yeah. I don't even care if I had
but
nothing to
he's
do with the
Stephen
movie.
King.
That's true. I guess it's worth.
Like he didn't.
My name's not
Yeah,
worth
he
anything.
didn't. And for him to have a certain level of excellence, but what if they completely changed it?
But you see,
And
it,
you
it,
did
it
that.
short circuited. It short
Yeah,
circuited.
no, I'm
so
talking to Bill. I'm saying,
he
like,
got-
imagine.
he got his name
really
put
think
on
about
it, but
that.
because of that, it turned out to be a crappier movie than it would have been. So it kind of hurts the brand. Yeah.
What were you trying to say, Crystal?
What I'm saying is, I'm sure that they were planning on using his name the entire time, but he probably said, "Oh, you're not using my script," because if he wrote the original screenplay, that means he thought that's the way it was going to be done until they decided it wasn't, and then he probably made his executive decision to go, "Then I'm not putting my name on it because this is not what I wrote." And then
Right,
they said,
Here's
"Well,
$500,000.
how about we give you more money?" Because they knew
Well,
it wouldn't sell otherwise.
Yeah, and that makes sense, but we're kind of speculating based on human nature and the film industry. But
I've never heard of.
I mean,
Stephen
the
King
ending.
raising a problem though before.
So in the story, they die.
Yeah.
Both those characters die. She, where she's hung up on the cross, she dies there, and they've like, what have they done? They've like stuck
Gouged
corn
her
silk
eyes.
in her
Gouged her
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put corn silk in her eyes and husks in her mouth, and
I can see changing that. We like Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, but that would but she wasn't Linda Hamilton then. She was
right. But she's a likable. She's
yeah.
and look,
yeah.
look. I get that they want.
But that's
a
what makes
happier
it. That's
ending.
what makes it horror. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he got killed too.
right.
Then what? So it just ended as they both died, and that's it.
And it ended with the corn.
Children are still there.
The corn
sacrificing
wins,
screaming to the
basically.
corn god. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, okay. I think there's a happy medium between that nihilistic desolation and the after-school special ending that we got here. It's like, hey, kids, you want to get
And the
adopted?
kids
Sure,
made it too.
yay!
I
Yeah,
know.
okay.
The weird music and the walking away during the credits.
I want to see the sequel where they finally make it to a town and try to explain to the cops. It's like, yeah, we ran over a kid and there's a bunch of dead ones back there and we want to adopt these two. Is that okay? It's like, yeah, it's Iowa, whatever.
Well, they probably still have family. I mean, there'd be so many things.
Yeah.
So, well, that's the other thing. So we have this town in Nebraska where apparently this has been going on for 3 years and nobody's ever driven, hardly ever, to the town.
Like
right?
they don't have any other, or if they have, I guess they died.
And they got R.G. Armstrong just in case somebody else shows up, and he steers them to it. You brought up the possible Stephen King connection or the Stan connection. That other town that they're trying to go to, and I forget the name of it. Herming home.
Yeah.
That's where Mother Abigail lives, where everybody's
Well, and
trying to get to in the
mentioned
stand.
they mentioned another city too. I can't remember.
That was
Of course.
Gatlin, but I think the
No, they mentioned another city at some other point. I just
okay.
wasn't paying enough. I was like, oh, that's from so and so.
Oh,
God
okay.
Bless. What did they?
Wasn't Jerusalem's lot, but yeah. As you're saying that, I'm feeling like I remembered something about that. But
Yeah, it was when they were talking in the car, the couple in the car, like, because they had they brought up several different stories. Oh, I am not going to remember.
Yeah.
But they
Remember
did.
that
They
time
made
we got
several
kid-
references. It's all in the
Remember
same
when we got
universe.
attacked by a Saint Bernard? in Castle
Do they
Rock?
mention?
Yeah.
I think maybe they mentioned Castle Rock, don't they? Is
Okay,
Castle
maybe.
But
Rock-
that's it, Castle Rock. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
So we
Jeff
saw
is-
that. Anybody listening to this has been screaming this in the background.
Yeah.
The car.
Castle
Yeah.
Rock, you moron!
Castle Rock. You.
I was like, what was it? I
Okay.
can't remember.
Well, let's
Damn
take a look
show.
at a little bit more here. So it's a pretty
I like that
kind
poster.
of iconic poster.
Yeah,
I do too.
That's
I'm
a
cool with
good
that poster.
It's good layout, nice color. It's a horror movie.
Yep. Little eyes in the cornfield there.
And there's Stephen King with his name $500,000 font there. That's
That's what sells it, though.
And
It's
a
an iconic
child
poster.
shall lead them.
from the author of
It
Carrie.
is. It is.
And an
Shining,
adult
The Dead
nightmare.
Zone. Yeah, they put
I
everything.
think
in
it's
there.
funny they put a period on it. That's funny.
Mm.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yep.
Good poster. Yeah.
All right. So we've talked a little bit about her. So this was a big get, especially considering what happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
right
they
after
did.
this.
Look, Night Shift. It's right there. Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even
Yeah.
notice it.
Yeah.
I was even just talking about Night Shift because I was watching. It made me. Yeah. Never mind. It doesn't even
See,
matter.
if
Private
they'd
conversation.
read it, they would have known to keep right on driving.
Eh,
Was this story in Night Shift or Skeleton Crew? I can't remember.
Oh, I
Night
don't know.
Shift. It was in Night Shift. I just looked.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm not going by memory. It's like the second to the last.
Oh, that's
story.
why that's why I got it wrong.
My Swiss cheese memory. So yeah, I remember that story too, and I like the story a lot as well. So Linda Hamilton, who I didn't realize, was married to James Cameron
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
in the
Wow,
80s.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, she was,
Got a
and
bundle.
and she was married to Bruce Abbott.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, actually, she wasn't married to James Cameron until late 90s. She was married to Bruce Abbott in the 80s
Okay.
from Reanimator.
Mhm.
That Bruce Abbott, correct?
Yep.
Oh.
Huh. And the Terminator was roughly, when did I say this one was released? March.
Is it
so
Oh.
March 84, Terminator was released in October. So what, 6-7 months later? So yeah, that was wow. It's not surprising that her career took off shortly after that.
She's very likable, and she doesn't look
Mhm.
like a movie star. She looks like a real person, which I think really works in a horror film, something like this, where we need to identify that she could be just like us. That could be us, lost in the middle of corn country, USA, and everything. So yeah, she was, I think, well cast in the role. I thought he was too. I mean, they both seem like a nice, likable, everyday couple.
Well, I think the story had more drama going on between them two. There was more conflict going on between the couple.
In the short story, yeah.
Yeah, this one it was sort of there, but they just kind of joked their way past it, kind of thing.
Right,
it seemed
right.
Hmm.
like. Yeah, and then she went. King Kong Lives in 1986,
Ugh,
Oh,
yikes.
but then Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, stinky.
With Ron Perlman.
Yeah,
Did you guys watch Beauty and the Beast?
yeah, I did.
Mm-mm.
I absolutely did not.
But I know what it is.
Oh yeah, I thought it was good. It was good. And then at some point they wrote her out of it, and it went straight to hell.
Did they really?
How could you write out? I'm assuming she's Beauty, right? Like,
yes.
I mean,
well, I would hope so. Yeah.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
she.
she could
I guess she had other
necessarily.
things to do, and I think they killed her off, and we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, the audience didn't go for that.
But they kept Ron Perlman.
Well, yeah.
that was stupid.
They changed the
Just end the
title, so
show.
does that mean they brought a different Beauty in, or was she?
I'm sure
not
they
the
did.
Beauty?
I'm
Yeah.
sure they did. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I found a couple of weird things early in her career. The first one was a TV movie called, this is not the best title, Rape and Marriage, The Right Out Case.
Whoa.
And it was
Okay.
about the case where the woman sued the guy, charged him with her husband with rape. That was like the first, saying.
Yeah.
And the other people in that, Mickey Rourke was in that movie, and Rip Torn was in that movie. It's kind of a surprisingly good TV movie cast at the time. And then in 1982, she did a movie called Tag: The Assassination Game.
That was on HBO a lot.
Yeah, it was written and directed by Nick Castle.
No,
Really?
The Shape guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that either. I don't know. Interesting. To me, anyway.
so she paid her dues.
So how'd she do? She do good here? This was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's always good.
Yeah. She didn't have. There wasn't really any involved dialogue, between either one of them. So it was sort of like her
I
answers
really
were very
hate his
short and
haircut.
very.
Whose haircut? Oh, Peter.
Horton.
That's like it's like really hard to look at his haircut. It's really bad.
It was the 80s.
He's a doctor. Did doctors have hair like that? Really?
Everybody had hair like that in the 80s.
If they're hunks.
Mm.
He was on a list, right? I forget where I saw this. But he was on the list of 100 sexiest people in 1990 or something in People magazine.
That's not true. I don't believe
100's
it.
a big
No,
number.
no.
I mean,
Ew.
so was
He's not
Rip
cute to me.
Torn.
Well, he was the we're kind of switching over here, but he was the sensitive guy in 30 something. If anybody,
Oh God, I watched that show too. Yeah,
I did too.
Ugh,
I don't think I can
like
stand
blondes.
watching that
I'm just-
now, but it
just
was.
not a fan of
I
it.
don't think I
pretty
could
good at the
either.
time.
I don't think I could either. It had a good cast.
It did. It did. But I'd probably want to throw my TV set out the window if I tried to watch it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it now.
I will say I like the costuming. I like this like brown and black that they have going on in this like I feel like that costuming is really nice. It looks so weird and a little
Yeah, it's
not
kind
to
of the
offend the
Earth-
Amish, but kind of
Earth.
Amishy. Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
I
kind
like
of earth
it.
tones, right?
Right.
For
Right.
Yeah.
He who how does it go? He who hides behind the rose, or
He,
he walks behind the
Walks
rose.
behind the rose. Yeah.
See, so here's the deal. I live literally
Hmm.
in the country. I'm like 5 miles from the closest little town in Iowa, surrounded by cornfields. And that movie should have scared the crap out of me.
Right.
I mean, because if you go walking out in the middle of a cornfield where they're fully grown,
you could get
Mhm.
lost.
that's creepy as hell.
Right.
You can't see anything, and there's noises everywhere. It's so I don't know. That just seemed like there was so much promise.
But they didn't do a
opportunity
lot
there.
with it, except for the scene where he's like starting to walk through it, and the corn is like bending out of his way, and then
Right.
inexplicably he keeps going.
Right.
That's when I like turn around and walk
Yeah.
back from whence I came. It's like, okay, this is
Then
I don't
that
need
would
a
have been
sign.
your monster name. He
Yeah.
who turns around and runs away
he who runs away. Yeah.
behind the rose.
He who runs away. Okay. Yeah. And I still have to see. We brought it up the other time by accident, but what was it, Crystal? Sharks of the Corn. That your friend was in.
God. Yeah.
I have to see that. I have
That's
to
pretty
see
good.
that. All right.
It's
Look
in
at
my
that.
queue.
See that look? Look at that look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's. I'm. See, so this is like the one positive part, but they're so, especially the
And that hat.
Malachi
That
character.
hat.
The hat, the just that he's got that look is great. And then again, look at it in the middle. He just looked.
No,
He's gotta get
it's
some
you know why
prosthetic
it looks ridiculous. His hair looks ridiculous.
Mhm.
Like his hair is scarier when it's like this Amish style, like
Yeah.
perfectness to it. It's like it's just weird. It's like we don't understand it. We don't get it. Why are you wearing that hat? Why is your hair all straight?
Yeah.
Well, that's one
Down.
of I think that's one of the cool things about this character is I think I heard a couple of the two kids say he just showed up one day.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who he was or where he came from.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. And you know, that face, that weird childlike yet adult face, also reminds me of, you know, you see some of the Renaissance paintings and everything when they really didn't seem to know how to paint faces, and they would just give, like, baby Jesus would just have a full grown adult's face on this little tiny body. Yeah. There's just an eerie quality to that. So he was good. I thought he acted well, but I don't think the writing really served him well. I mean, this kid should have had some otherworldly quality to him, but he was just like saying, you know, you'll die 1,000 deaths, blah, 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 blah. When he and Malachi are yapping at each other, didn't really get the sense that either one of them was really touched by God or the devil. They're just bratty kids.
Yeah.
So I think a missed opportunity, but definitely the best casting in the movie.
Right. And so we talked about this offline, but this actor was 24 when he did this.
So kind of a repeat of the situation with Burial Ground. But at least in this, and if those of you who might remember, Burial Ground's a horrible Italian zombie movie that has a 12-year-old kid clearly played by a much, much older person with some medical condition. And there was no reason for that. But here, at least, it makes sense because he is supposed to be unusual and otherworldly, and there's something off about him. And, you know, the fact that this actor is able to portray a young person 10 years younger than he really is makes that work. Yeah. So he did a great job.
Yeah. No, he's creepy as all get out.
I'm sure he's a very nice person in real life. I think he does conventions and stuff. And I'd be interested to see what he looks like now.
Yeah, yeah. John Franklin.
Yeah.
And the other bad guy, Malachi, Courtney Gaines.
The Birds.
I hate how they always put redheads as like the bad people. It's always the case.
I suppose.
But that's usually the way it really is. So, you know.
Always the case. No. It's totally a thing.
Bill, you're going to have so much feedback this week.
Oh, listen, no one loves redheads more than me. My oldest daughter's a redhead. Her husband's a redhead. And thanks to the law of genetics, both of my grandchildren are redheads, and they're all the best people on earth. They're wonderful. But, you know, okay, let me say, redheaded women are beautiful.
Oh.
Redheaded guys.
Men get better looking as they age.
I think you're right.
My husband is a redhead. I know it's not, his hair's not red anymore because he's older.
Oh, and older. Thank you for putting the in there. Yeah.
You lose the red as you get older. It gets like blonder, actually.
Yeah,
it doesn't even go like
Conan O'Brien.
Sometimes you just lose it altogether.
Lose it all. But the redhead look is not as well. It's not as attractive. People love it, I'm sure, but there's the pale skin and everything on guys. It just works really well to make them scary.
Have you seen him though? Guys. He looks good now. And Scott Farquhar, the guy, yes, that's what I'm saying. Redheaded men come into their own, but when they're older.
This is his. I'm sorry. This is his first credit. On IMDb.
Oh, it is. He did really well then. Wow.
Oh, so all you redhead kids out there, there's hope. You know, don't be angry. Don't be walking down a dirt road kicking a rock in front of you. They said redheaded boys, like you'll grow into it.
The guy, the redhead from A Christmas Story, he's really hot now too. Scott Farquhar or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Farkas.
Farkas. Thank
Farkas.
you. That's it. Yeah.
He's Mason Reese, a very attractive man right now. I understand.
Eric Stoltz. Yeah. Eric Stoltz.
Oh. Did you see when he was young? He was like all deformed and everything. Mm-hmm. Or maybe that was just the role. I don't know. But anyway, much better looking.
Are you talking about Mask?
Yes, I am.
Oh my God.
Yeah. See, he grew into that face.
Well, Courtney Gaines is like he's doing that thing now where he's like pounding out the movies like crazy. I think it's
he is.
since he's hot as sort of a legendary character in this movie, so he's just that. And we did one a couple of years ago on Gruesome podcast. Crystal, I think you're on that one. Candy Corn, remember that?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he played the sheriff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Candy corn was
So-
good.
I loved that movie. It was good.
But you know,
He wasn't.
in
He
this-
didn't have
Oh,
a
he
huge
was in-
role in it, but
He was in that Corbin Nash. Is that the one with? Yeah, it is. That's another one we did. Corbin Nash
Okay.
had Corey Feldman
remember
and Bruce Davidson, Rutger Hauer, and it had all
Wow.
these. It was like a movie of cameos almost.
Yeah.
Um,
Now I thought in this one, I didn't really understand why, you know, he and Malachi and Isaac are now butting heads. I think there could have been an interesting dynamic going on there, but again, the dialogue didn't really
Yeah.
settle. I mean, Malachi's obviously one of the older kids there, and you know, maybe the clock is ticking here, and
maybe
he's
that's
starting
what it
to,
is. Yeah.
you know, I mean, that would have been a plausible thing. Isaac doesn't get any older. You know, it's been 3 years.
So
and
he
looks exactly the
was-
same as when you see through the window.
he was 18 when they filmed this.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, he was approaching the window, and actually in the story, when the I don't think they did it. Did they do it here? Did he lower the age at the end?
To 18.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't remember him saying it at any part in the movie.
So in the story, that was his punishment because they killed off Vicky, but then, wow, this is bothering me now because I feel like I'm mixing them up. But at some point they lowered the age to 18, and all these people that were like 18 had to go walking off into the corn, and it was punishment for not killing off Burt.
Mhm.
See, Burt ran into the field, and the creature kills him. In the story, it is a story. It is a story.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I'm
neither
like,
one of them
what? I
dies
don't
in
know
the
what-
movie.
what-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I easily confuse myself sometimes.
Oh no, that's okay.
So yeah, in the story, they kill her. You know, they hang her on the corn cross with corn silk and husks and cobs and stuff in her mouth and eyes and whatever, and then they're supposed to kill him too, and they're supposed to do the sacrifices, but they don't get him. He gets away, and he comes running in, finds his wife is dead, and then the creature comes out and kills him, and then he punishes the group because they didn't kill him, because he had to kill him. And the punishment is you have to become 18, and the one girl was supposed to have been pregnant with Isaac's or Malachi's baby. I don't remember which. And now she's 18. So there was a lot more to me, drama and tragedy, and I just would have, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been too much of a 70s movie.
Yeah.
Although the story was written in the 70s, so.
Well, it just seems like there's a lot, big chunks like that missing out of the gravy.
This is pretty thin.
Yeah.
They kind of throw that extra jump scare almost in at the end where
Yeah.
the one girl's hiding in the car.
Right.
And I don't know where all I read this. I think I read this under quotes from Linda Hamilton or something, but she said that she didn't want to do that because she said that was stupid. Why would they go back to the car? It was trash and filled with, corn stalks and everything.
Right.
And the producer said, "We want the audience to think you're stupid."
Oh. Okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
According to her, and I
I believe her.
Yep. So
I don't know
We
why
do-
she would lie about something like that.
yeah,
right.
I don't
It's
either.
legit to pay.
I would, and
Holy
here we
God.
have.
It looks just like they took when your TV is broken, that static,
Yeah.
colored red, and made a traveling mat out of it, and it looks like pants. In no way, shape, or form is that red stuff
No.
anywhere near the character. They didn't even bother shining a damn red light at him to make it look like this red
it was glowing on his,
is reflecting. I mean, the simplest thing. It's not often I see a movie that costs even $800,000 that has as a major plot point a special effect that I know in my soul I could have done a better job over the weekend by myself with After Effects. Now, of course, there wasn't After Effects back then. I'll give them that, but there were movies with good special effects. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with that thing at the bottom. That was is that the face? Is that it looks like
Can we break this down?
a bulldog or something?
Can we break down this image for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing two eyes on the left and right.
Yeah.
Nose in the middle.
Yeah.
Then
And then
this
a mouth.
big giant.
Mm-hmm.
Kermit
Big
the Frog.
frowny mouth.
Okay, I just want to make sure that
Yep.
we're all seeing the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Because that is the stupidest monster I've ever seen in my life. I was so
Well,
I
mad
don't know if it
coming out of the
was it
theater.
supposed to be that? Was it supposed to be a monster?
Well, it kind of
actually,
makes me
though?
wonder because they kind of use the budget cuts for the excuse for everything. So, for instance, when R.G. Armstrong finds his bloody, the dog's bloody bandana under his truck hood, it was supposed to have been the dog's head.
Oh.
But
I'm
they didn't.
okay with just a bloody bandana, quite frankly. That's okay. I can live without a severed
And
dog's
then
head, for God's
they
sake.
were supposed to create some kind of big monster effect, but this is
That's a shame right there.
Yeah.
It looks like Kermit the Frog trying to swallow a liquor bottle sideways.
I mean, I don't really want to see the way it was described in the book was not explicit down to the last detail, but something large and dark and shadowy that is rising. It should have been like really thin and scary and coming out like a scarecrow come to life, only made out of corn stalks or whatever the hell, but not
well.
this.
The scene at the end too, were not quite the end, but Burt's. What's he running down like I can sort of understand it when a kid's running away and scared to death, they fall down. But this guy falls down all the time.
He does.
He's running away in the town. He's running over open ground, and he trips over his own feet. So anyway, when he's
I'm a doctor,
in the
not an
corns, did the corn come out and trip him? Was that the deal? But it starts wrapping him up, right?
Yeah.
It's got him.
Yeah,
And
that's
this
true.
kid, Joe, runs out and cuts him loose.
Hmm.
And then he acts like, I don't know. It's sort of like he didn't learn his lesson. You go back, and I'm going to keep going and see if this doesn't happen all
it
over
worked
again.
out
Okay,
so
it was
well.
really funny when the kid comes out to help him, and he's like, "You go back," and the kid is like, "Well, excuse me." That was really funny. Okay, like I totally
that is
laughed
fun.
again. I was like, and it like takes a really long time for him to say that. I don't know. I still enjoyed it.
There was
I guess.
one really good effect. I did like the rolling effect of something coming under the ground.
Yeah.
And that got my hopes up because that looks like there's a living thing, a mole creature, some solid, living, breathing, demonic entity going through the ground. And that looked really cool.
Yeah.
And then he turns into a big ball of fuzzy light. I don't get it. No, don't get it at all.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So this, the actor that played Job is Robbie Kiger. And he did I thought him and the girl.
Yeah, they seem like
What was
real
her name?
kids.
Anne Marie McAvoy. They both did a pretty good job, I thought.
I did too. The kid did pretty good narration at the beginning too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And him and the girl that played, I guess, were they brother and sister
Yes.
in the show?
Was
Yeah,
she
because
Sarah?
she was sick at home. Remember?
That's
She was
right.
sick at home.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He
a
didn't do
great
too
job.
much else, but he was in the Monster Squad.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
Just scrolling
And like-
down,
so-
he's
and-
got 20 credits.
Her vision
Hmm.
thing too seems like it should have been a bigger plot point. You know, the fact that she had whatever, The Shining or something, that, you know,
Mhm.
drawing a little kid drawing pictures that come true. That's a pretty scary concept right there. They could have had some fun with that.
Yeah,
But
it just turned into a plot device.
right.
And I don't know if, I wanted to see more of those paintings, because those, the drawings that she
Mhm.
did, not paintings, but they could have been downright creepy. They showed the one, I think, where there was there somebody laying on the ground with a knife?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so she did a good job too. She had a lot of television guest spots in the 80s, like 20, but then didn't do much again for apparently she did a little reappearance in Fuller House as a character. She did a repeat performance of it in the original. All right. I did, I looked up this writer and director, and there's just not much. This
Yeah.
Fritz Kiersch did a couple of episodes of the Swamp Thing TV show in 1990.
Hmm.
He also did Gore.
Oh God.
GOR.
GOR.
Yeah, GOR.
Man,
gosh.
man. Have you ever tried to watch that?
Yeah,
No.
I have.
Have you ever
I've
tried
tried.
to Have you ever tried to read any of the Gore novels?
No, not
Oh
after
my
trying
God.
to see the movie.
Oh.
No,
wow.
I'm gonna. You tell me, maybe you know, Bill, but my assumption on those Gore novels was that was like a pseudonym that they hired lots of different people to write. If there was really a guy named John Norman, or
I don't know if his name was John Norman, but I think most of them were by the same
same guy. Okay.
And they started out as like adult science fiction, and then they very rapidly devolved into almost porn, paperback, mass market, softcore, slave, weird, misogynistic, strange porn.
Okay, so it is
Okay.
is the pen name of John Frederick Lang Jr.
But they did have one cool thing, which is that the covers always had these semi-naked women on these giant pterodactyl-like birds. And then when they made the movie, the one thing they definitely got rid of were the birds, which was the whole, the Gore without, that's like, yeah.
Okie dokie.
So, not worth your
So,
time.
do we have any final comments we want? Well, I guess I kind of left out R.G. Armstrong. He's always awesome.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I forgot to make a graphic for him.
My favorite quote from him in all his movies, he always finds a way to go, "Oh my God."
He does have that sort of guttural pronunciation
My
of it.
God.
bag.
He's not in it for very long, but he's good.
Right. And he's got 184 credits in IMDb. He played a recurring part for 5 episodes on Millennium. Do you remember him from Millennium, Chad? He played the old man in like 5 episodes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
would guess at this point he's playing the old man in a lot of
Yeah.
different roles. But
I haven't watched Millennium in a while, but I do remember him in a few episodes.
hope he wasn't paid by the day, because I don't think it took more than one to shoot his stuff.
That's what he was, a day.
Yeah.
A day? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Somewhere I read that. He goes back to 1954, so lots of decades.
Hmm.
And he lived to be 95.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. So yeah, I always like seeing him. He's just one of those gruff characters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's my thing I wanted to put in. So any other final thoughts on this?
I
Children
don't know.
of
This
the
makes me
Corn.
want to watch the rest of them.
Actually,
I don't remember any of them really.
I
The other
actually
ones.
put a few in my queue. So
Did you really?
yes, I did.
Naomi Watts is in The Gathering. Children of the Corn, The Gathering. Or Gathering? I don't know.
And I believe at least one
Before
of them
she hit
was
it
filmed
big.
in North Carolina.
Oh, really? Yay!
Because it's a long story, but when I had to go to a farm out in corn country, North Carolina.
Is this for the rabbit?
Yes.
Oh my God! I heard this story this weekend. No, don't tell this story.
No, I'm not telling that story because we don't need that many letters. Anyway,
No.
the farmer there was Harvey, the rabbit farmer. True story. Told me that they had filmed Children of the Corn. I think he said Children of the Corn 3, but I might be wrong. Right down the street there. And this was in a section in North Carolina where I thought at any moment I could be dragged into the bushes by a bunch of inbred hillbillies and sacrificed to the corn god. So I well believe that the film was shot there, maybe inspired by there. So
Oh, so you've met my family.
yes, nice folk, good folk. Make
Yeah,
a swell barbecue.
You should come over for dinner sometime.
Ooh.
Other Crystal, last comments?
No. Yep. No.
You like it? Okay, we're good.
I like it. Yep.
It's
Just thinking about rabbits now.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm just going to ask this one more time. I don't understand the cult. Well, I guess I understand a cult following, but people say that this is such a classic. And I don't. I'm sure somebody will say something in the comments, hopefully, maybe, or send us something what their thoughts are on why this.
A
is
lot of people
considered a
like.
classic.
I think I consider it a classic, but I think I consider it a classic because a lot of people actually like this movie.
Mhm.
Well,
I think y'all are in the minority, actually. I mean, I know a lot of people who are just kind of about it, but I mean, it spawned so many movies. It
tells you something.
Yeah.
Well, 14.5 million on a less than under $1 million budget is not a sneeze at.
That's considered micro budget now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do
I love that
have
micro budget.
one piece of feedback
Yay.
about episode 185, Bad Taste,
Uh-oh.
from Jay Bart, one of our regular listeners. And he says, classic. Chad, love your old school mom and pop video store stories. I was so there with you. Those were the days.
Yeah, they were.
So I don't know if he means he was moving the finger around too, or he just.
There were a lot of people moving the finger around, and I like to think I'm the one that started it. So.
All right,
This is
so
really funny.
I always neglect all this stuff. I should do this at the beginning, but number one, we do have a Patreon account if you want to become a supporter through Patreon. That's awesome. You get things ahead of time. You get Decades of Horror like up to 2 weeks ahead of the general release. And there's other videos that come out early or only that way. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like, comment. We love comments. I like to do more comments. Let's. Who loves this movie and thinks we're full of it? That would be good. Also, you can make comments. Send them to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, and they will get to us. You can also listen on any of your friendly neighborhood podcast apps as audio versions of this. All right, catch us. Wait a minute.
Oh yeah, the next one. Mm-hmm.
Every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. We got to know what's up for the next episode. What film between 1980 and 1989?
Well, it's my turn, and I'm picking one I saw a very long time ago. And like you, I remember it being not terribly good, but I think now, in the fullness of time, I'm going to appreciate its weirdness more than I did then. It's not good, but it's compelling. In other words, yes, folks, it's Canadian. The Pit.
I don't even know what that means. It's Canadian. Like that's a letdown somehow. I don't know that I agree with that.
Well, Canadian. There's nothing like
Canadian
Canadian
stuff has
horror.
come up in the world for sure. Like
over the
they've
last
done
decade.
so much in
80s
Canada
Canadian
now.
horror movies have their own vibe. They're in their own little universe, and they can be terrible, but they can also be wonderful, and sometimes at the same time. So I think you may enjoy this. It's just get ready. Just when you think you got it figured out, no. So, The Pit. It's on Shudder.
Oh, and you said it was on Shudder, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Catch us here again in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the 1980s. As only decades of horror can do it. Thank you all for joining me. I love talking movies with you guys. Say goodnight.
Oh, yeah.
Good night.
I'm all warm
Good night,
and fuzzy
everybody.
on the inside now.
Now, he-woo.
Gruesome Magazine.